Hey guys, Gil here. I want to kind of go over in this video how to use TSM, which is my favorite auction house add-on. I think I made a video about this before. Not that I have so many videos I can't go through, but I don't think I did a great job explaining like how to actually set everything up. So I'm going to go kind of step by step. If I had nothing, how to get it set up and get using it. So the first step is you're going to open up CurseForge or wherever you get your add-ons. And you're going to type in all one word, TradeSkillMaster, and you're going to download this. What that does is it puts the add-on in your add-on folder so you can see a lot of it, like all of these options, which lets you have the ledger, the revenue, and all that stuff. It lets you make groups, lets you configure operations and change settings. What it doesn't give you though is price data. So you can see here on a chrono boon, I've set up the tooltip. You can see it shows like from top to the bottom. In fact, let me take a screenshot of this. And then I will go over it in Paint so I can actually mouse over stuff. Okay, so at the top it tells you the name of the object or whatever. Here it tells you, I think this works with Bagnator, it tells you which characters and how many you have on those characters. It tells you if I were to buy this from a vendor, if it's available from a vendor, how much it costs, how much you could sell it to a vendor for. So like, you get gouged. And then this TSM accounting stuff is where all of the data is. And I figured this out today. They added back in the most critical things, which I'll get to in a second. That they lost, I think, in Cataclysm or the End of Wrath. So the first thing is it tells me my own things. So I've bought 34 chrono boons and like since I lost all my data with the pre-patch, and I bought them for an average of 1 gold and 13 silver. So this is the minimum price that you've paid. This is the average that you've paid, and this is the max you've paid. So min, average, max. And then it takes that data and it says, okay, what's the smartest average buy? So it takes all the data out there based that's on their thing, as well as what you've paid. And this is kind of more maybe like along a median. So it's basically if your average is higher than this, you probably could do better. But I wouldn't get too fixated on that. It tells you the last time you purchased it. And then these data fields are all configurable in the tooltip, which I'll explain in a second. So the first one is minimum buyout. So as of an hour and 53 minutes ago, the lowest price that was on the auction house was 1 gold and 31 silver. So that's really high. The recent value, so maybe not the current, but what it's been basically averaging over, this is probably 24 hours. It's 1 gold, 31 silver, 94 copper. So it's like, okay, it's been up a little bit. The market value kind of tells you what it's been over the last 2 weeks. The historical price, I don't remember the exact time frame. I'm sure TSM documentation would tell you all this. Not important, but the historical price kind of tells you what it's been over a longer period. And then these regional market and historical price. So this is like for all of West Coast servers or whatever. What it would be. In Anniversary, we don't really care about these because there's only 2 servers. There's us and Dream Scythe. And then this region sale average and region sale rate and region average daily sold. These just, these 2 right here just got added back. And these are fucking critical for making gold and assessing like a good sale versus a terrible one. And the reason I say that is because when you go to craft something with professions, if something this sale rate basically means of if I post 50 or let's say 100, if I post 100 of these chrono boons, the sale rate tells you what percentage will sell on average. So if I post 100, around 40 should sell. And then this And so the way that TSM gets this data is they have all the people that are using TSM. If somebody posts 100, they get 60 auctions back, or they get 35 one day. The next day they get 70, whatever, 45. You know, so and then it averages out over all the consumers of TSM, and it creates the data so that you can use it. And then it tells you how many were sold in a day. These two are really useful. And I'll give you an example of why. So let's say I'm a jewel crafter. These are in your profession windows. You can expand all this so you can see a little bit better. So Emerald Crown of Destruction sells for 22 gold profit. That's not bad. That's pretty damn good actually. But for every 10 that I post, 2 of them will sell. So it's not the best sale. If I go over here, if you look at the bottom there, region average daily sold, 1 of these sells a day of TSM users, which means probably like 2 or 3 sell a day on of all the people out there. So you really got to work is the point here. You got to work to sell. You got to work to make that 22 gold. Okay, but let's go to these onslaught rings. Okay, I'm gonna lose money here, but let's say if it were, you know, positive 1 gold. If I go onslaught ring and mouse over it, if I post 10, almost 6 will sell, and 80 sell a day versus 2. So my chance of making money on this is much higher. And when you're talking about my favorite ways of making gold with alchemy and big bulk items, so jewel crafting is another example. The region sale rate and the region daily sold, if you have high of either of these, so let's say only 2 sell a day, but the sale rate is 0.9, it means you're the only one selling them and you're getting all the sales, which is wonderful. If it's like, let's say a lower sale rate, but a super high average daily sold, it means you can probably sell all yours, but you might have to post it a couple times. So this is going to be the case for anything living Ruby. It'll have low sale rates, but high average daily sold, because people are canceling their auctions a lot to try to undercut and get a good sale. So what I do when I'm trying to find with these two things is I'm looking at these sale rates. If it's a high sale rate as well as profitable, then I like it. So true silver healing ring. Okay, I can craft these for, you can see at the bottom there, craft cost is 57 silver. They sell for, I would say 80 silver. So I'm making 20 silver per craft, and 122 of them sell a day with a 0.6 sale rate, which means I can craft 50 of these and I'll sell them probably within 2-3 days and make an easy 25 gold or whatever the case is. So that's how I would find good things. This is really apparent with alchemy. So like this would be another one, golden ring of power, 1 gold. How many sell a day? 8. Okay, not great, but the sale rate is pretty good. So, you know, you can do this type of analysis on your sales. Okay, but where does TSM get this? And this is the core of the video. So it comes from this TSM App Helper. And it used to be that you could scan. You'd manually scan and I think you can still do this with the other auction house add-ons. With TSM, they've automated this where I think they probably have a bot that scans the auction house I don't even think it's standardized. It's like every hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. I don't know where they get this data from, but they get the data and it is correct. And the way to get this set up to start with is you just type in TSM App Helper. And this guide will walk you through. Basically, you download it, or you configure your WoW path, and then in the App Helper, so you go settings. These are normally started. I don't run it startup or start minimize. I have it pinned in case I'm not wanting to do that. And then, so once you have the app helper, you come over here to, let's see here, add-on versions, excuse me. And you should be able to click these. It'll say like this, not installed, double click to install. So you just double click it, it'll install. Once you do that, because it's classic, you don't need to like sign, you might need to make an account. I honestly don't remember. I did this years ago. But once you have these double clicked, it'll tell you the add-on version, the app helper version. So you can see I have anniversary, and then your realm data should come in. You should see it here. So like fresh US Night Slayer Horde. Okay, so I just got an update at 11:14 p.m. That was 46 minutes ago. Although this might be server time, which means if I come over here and I mouse over something 2 hours and 3 minutes ago. Let me see if I do a reload. Because in order for the scan to take place, you do need to have a reload. So we'll see what this says. Okay, there you go. 37 minutes ago. And you can see like wizard oil, 1 gold, 14 silver. Right on the money. Okay, so we know that it's working, which means I can then trust all of my data. So now I have data in, I have the app. Now it's kind of using the power of TSM. And this is where it gets really squirrely. I will say it can be daunting, but if you do nothing other than what I just showed you, you're at the position you can make money now. So I'll just choose an item. Let's say I want to make money on dark runes. And I know this market right now because I've been watching it like a hawk. All I did was type in on the search dark rune. You can also shift click something in your inventory. This is how I post things normally. Okay, so now I get, because I have the data in here, I get to see prices. So I can now tell when I'm being gouged. So I'm not going to waste money buying, you know, something that's at 200%. I know the normals. I know what they are. I know I can see the market value. I know when to not get ripped off. Or I know if I'm going to buy it, I am getting ripped off. And then from here, if let's say I was going to sell something. So I just, like I said, I shift click. It automatically searches it. I say, okay, 98%, but I don't want to sell it at 98%. I want to sell it at this. I click on this, anyone I want. Wait for the slow ass auction house to work. I hit post. It will match. You can see, so like kind of dark behind there, but it says 520.59. So undercuts it by 1 copper. And then this one, 547.98, 547.97. I'm undercutting it by 1 copper. I could hit post and it'll post it. If, let's say I have a bunch of stacks, I could, you know, change the max stacks. I could set this to like 5 and 5 or whatever, and then post it that way. So I've done no groups. I've done nothing with any of these other things. I've just got the data and I've got the app, and I can make money. I made money like this for 2 years before I even started making groups because it was so daunting. And I still, so the way that groups work, I'll just go real quick. I still don't use groups that much because I don't, you can, these save you time. Like, let me know what this even is, because again, I don't use it. I use it for mailing is what I use it for. So you can see like, it'll search all the things in this group, and we'll just let it go here for 10 seconds. But it's searching for all of the items that you have configured, and you can have this set up to search for like, it'll only find auctions that are less than 80% or 90% market value. Well, you could set up all kinds of stuff. And while I'm thinking about it, if you go to TSM, wow, you can go to this groups section. So TradeSkillMaster.com/classic/groups, and you can grab these off of here. So like TBC profession leveling. These are people that have pre-built these. And oh, look at that sale rate. It's so good. And then you can take these, you can add it to the add-on if you want to do it that way. You can also, think, oh yeah, okay. So then you would take this, Okay, so you can see how it's finding me stuff to sell. You would take this, go to, I think it's groups, import group, and you would just shit it all here. And then it says, okay, you can move some groups, include the operations, and replace 4 existing operations. I'm not going to do this, but if you, actually I will, hold on one second. I think you can do a profile. Create a new profile. This is test for YouTube. Okay, I'm on this profile. So now my groups are gone. I go import, import it all, boom, hit import. Okay, so now it gave me bars. Okay, so it's got all the bars that I need. It's got cloth, cool, great. Gems, these are all classic gems and stuff, nothing from TBC yet, but you can see, so now these operations, when I'm shopping, this must be the guy's name that made these. Maximum auction price uses minimum of DB historical. We'll see if this even works. So I go, let's look at bars. We'll see what it pops out here. Probably going to be nothing. I'll explain why in a second. So what TSM is doing right now is it's taking that historical price and it's searching the 9 bars that are in that group for anything that was posted for less than 65. Okay, so it found silver bars. So it says 97% or 99%. This is of that 65%. So if you see here, the historical price is 17 silver, 69 copper. So if I do 0.65, which would be 65%, times 17.69, which is 17 silver, 69 copper, it's 11 gold, or 11 silver and 49 copper. Fucking massive calculator. You'll see these are all less than that. So if I search, again, I just shift clicked. If I search it here, you can see all of these are less than 65, than 65%. So in his operation for shopping, he uses DB historical times 0.65. You could change this and say times 0.8. You can normally flip it 0.8 and then you post it 1, hit enter. Okay, now let's see what it finds. It might not find anything because prices are so, you know, high right now. Nope, still not going to find anything. So, but it will find more of the silver because again, we increased it. So it grabbed that 80%. But you could make groups like this. This is how people do flipping with TSM. You can add things to your group. So I'll show you how to, I'll go back to my original profile. Then I have my shitty groups that, again, I don't use all of the power of TSM. You don't need to make money. You do need to use it. I don't know that you have to use it, but you can use it to make good money. So let's say I have this alchemy one and I want to add, so you can see ungrouped items. Of any group, you can only have one of these in here. So if I add wizard oil to alchemy, I can't add it to enchanting, which is kind of annoying. So the way that you would have to do it is you would have to like make a subgroup, and then you could add these parent items in here and make groups that way that you could then search a more clever way, maybe is the right way to say that. But what I normally do is I make a group, I add shit that I want to mail. I go in here to mailing, or I'm sorry, I go to operations mailing. I say investments, send it to my character. Don't do any of this fancy max quantity stuff, attach it to the group, and then when I am at my mailbox, real quick, when I'm at my mailbox, I can just hit group and it'll send everything off. So if I go here into groups, and then I hit enchanting or whatever, or alchemy, and then I hit mail selected groups, it will send everything in my inventory that's part of this group to the character that is associated with that group. So investments has character Gilmartin, and it will send everything to that guy. I do have a video that's about how to use this same principle for tailoring cooldowns, because you can configure the group a specific way so that it sends the right amount of primals, which is really useful, because you can divvy out mats very quickly for your tailoring alts or your alchemy alts to create stuff. But I've got a video about that. I think it's called I don't know what it's called. Let's see. I think it's this one. Yeah, it is this one. So you can see, I'll go over it. Yeah, this is being a moron going over how to do it, but you can see I go over kind of how to set them up here. The video is called Make Easy Gold and TBC Anniversary. Anyways, that's how I would set up TSM to at least get started. Again, recap, you need the add-on, you need the app helper, you need to configure the app helper to show the data for your specific server. And then from there, you can make all the money that you need. If you want to like level up your TSM game, and then I wouldn't worry, like I said, I wouldn't worry about this at the beginning. I would just use TSM for the data. But once you can level up, you start doing groups that you can use for mailing or for finding good flips. Yeah. Anyways, that's all she wrote. Like, comment, subscribe.